Well, welcome to Sonia and Chatty's Horror Podcast, the voice in the static, the radio that shouldn't speak. So, this is like part one of this series. So, I'm Sonia. Thank you for joining me for another night of chilling stories, unsettling mysteries, and tales that might make you think twice before you turning out the lights. Tonight's story began with something ordinary, something many of us have seen sitting in the attic, tucked away in the basement, or gathering dust, or we just forgotten about it. An old radio. Most people would see nothing more than cracked wood, faded knobs, and silent speakers. But what if silent wasn't the end? What if something has been waiting patiently for someone to listen? Tonight's story is called The Voice in the Static. Remember, this is a work of fiction created by entertainment. Now turn down the lights, get comfortable, and let's begin. Pull your blanket close because you might need it. The clock is ticking, rain is loud. Emily Harper stood in the doorway of her grandmother's house, taking one last look before holding the keys to the realtor. The house felt empty. The laughter that once filled this room had long since faded. Only silence remained. Her grandmother Margaret had lived there for over 60 years. She has been known throughout the small town as a quiet but kind woman. Children often said she could predict storms before the weather report. Neighbors joked she always knew who was about to visit before they knocked. Most people laughed it off. Emily never gave it much thought. As the movers carried boxes outside, one of them called her over. "Miss Harper." Emily looked up. "There's one more thing." In the corner of the attic sat an old wooden radio. Dust covered every inch of it. Its fabric speaker grill was faded with age, and the one of its tuning knobs hung loosely from the front. "It still works?" Emily asked. The mover shook his head. "No idea, but your grandmother specifically labeled it." Her hand He handed her a yellow envelope, written in neat handwriting with 6 words: "Never throw this radio away." Emily smiled. Grandma was always dramatic. She tucked the note into her pocket. The radio come home with her. 3 days later, the radio sat untouched on a bookshelf inside of Emily's apartment. She had no intention of restoring it. It was simply another keepsake. A reminder of someone she loved. Outside, rain poured across the city. Emily settled onto the couch with a cup of tea and a novel. The apartment was peaceful, almost too peaceful. Then, boom! Emily nearly dropped her mug. The old radio had turned on. Static hissed from the speaker. She stared at it. Impossible! The power cord wasn't even plugged in the wall. Slowly she stood. The static continued. She picked up the cord, still unplugged, no batteries, no hidden power source, nothing. As suddenly as it had started, the radio went silent. Emily laughed nervously. There, there has to be an explanation. She placed it back on the shelf, but sleep didn't come easy that night. At exactly 2:15 a.m., Emily awakes to the sound again. It's growing louder. The radio crackling, hissing, calling from the living room. She wrapped herself in a blanket and cautiously stepped into the hallway. The apartment is dark. Only the fainted glow of the city lights filtered through the curtains. The static stopped. Then a whisper so soft she almost believed she imagined it. "Emily." She froze. Every hair on her arm stood up. The voice had spoken her name. It wasn't loud. It wasn't angry. It sounded almost familiar, like someone trying not to wake the neighbors. Emily searched every room. The apartment was empty. She grabbed her phone. No missed calls, no television, no neighbors making noise, just silence. She returned to the radio. Its wooden cabinet felt cold beneath her fingertips. She leaned closer. Nothing. Not a sound at all. The next morning, right? Emily told herself it had been a dream. Grief could play tricks on your mind. She has been exhausted and mostly drained. Maybe she imagined everything. That afternoon, she invited her best friend Sarah over for coffee. Sarah noticed the radio immediately. Vintage, she said to Emily. Emily smiled. It belongs to my grandmother. Sarah examined the handwritten note Emily had found. Never throw this radio away, she laughed. Sounds like something from a horror movie. Emily forced a smile. Don't joke. You look actually scared, Emily hesitated. Then she told Sarah everything, the static, the whisper her name. Sarah listened patiently. When Emily finished, Sarah shrugged. You've been through a lot. I think your mind is trying to make sense of losing your grandmother. Emily wanted to believe her. She truly did. But before leaving, Sarah jokingly patted the radio. If you start predicting lottery numbers, call me. The two laughed. But as Sarah reached the apartment door, the radio crackled just once. Both women turned. Then a faint whisper drifted through the static. Don't let her leave. Sarah's smile disappeared. The apartment felt completely silent. None of them spoke. For the first time, Emily realized she wasn't the only one who had heard the voice. What could possibly know Emily's name? And why would an old radio warn her about someone she trusted? We're going to find out in part 2 of the voices in the static. Until then, keep the lights on, and if an old radio in your home suddenly comes to life, listen to it carefully. It may already know who you are. So, thank y'all for listening to Sonia and Chatty's Horror. That's part 1. Stay tuned for part 2. Everyone, so for the last 2 weeks, I'm gonna be kind of loading y'all up with episodes because in August I will not be doing podcasts at all. I wouldn't be back until September. So July is actually gonna be my last time doing my podcast until September. So I'm gonna try to give y'all as much episodes that I can for the last couple of weeks in July. I won't be doing it in August at all. I'll be back in September with new stuff. And I'm also asking y'all if Sonia Chatty Horror is your favorite, please leave a comment. If Sweet News and Dry Humor is your favorite, please leave a comment saying that's your favorite. If Intimate Connection is your favorite, please leave a comment saying that's your favorite. If Relationship Do's and Don'ts is your favorite, please leave a comment saying that's your favorite. If Beyond the Pages is your favorite, please leave a comment saying that's your favorite. Because I truly appreciate y'all. I appreciate all the love y'all give me. I appreciate all the support y'all give me. And until next time, stay blessed. Have a blessed night. And don't forget to turn the lights out.